Here on the Hololive Construction server, fans can gather together to create builds, towns, and tributes in dedication to the various talents of Hololive production. Naturally, that also extends to Hololive's second-generation member, Minato Aqua, who for the last 6 years has been a plentiful, talented, and iconic idol, and a gamer, and a maid, and an onion. As Aqua will be graduating from Hololive at the time that I'm recording this, I thought it would be best to show off her fan creations here on HLC, of which have been accumulating since March of 2021. And with that, we set off to Onion Town. Alright, looks like we're arriving now. This here is Onion Town, and we're coming into the Onion Town train station. Like many of the other developed town train stations, it has a fully automated system to send off and receive players. And this one in particular is actually very elaborate in its aesthetics and design. We can see it makes much use of these various wooden textures. When you exit, it gives you a lot of opportunity to look around the surroundings without even leaving, and you can just overlook and see the scenery. You already see accents of the pink and the blue, as well as the banner adorning different parts of the train station. There is also a map that shows a bird's eye view of the town that we're about to look through. I don't think it's updated though. There are some blank looking sections that I know will have stuff, so we're gonna see that in person and verify that claim later. And they even have a bar in the back, kind of like a tiki bar sort of thing, because this train station is situated next to the beach. You can definitely see a lot of map art around the area. Tables and umbrellas looking over the ocean, in which we can also see the Aquamarine Go. This build was made on the actual Hololive server as a collaboration between Aqua, as well as Sensho, and I think Mio, and perhaps a few others. Here's some beach volleyball on this side. There's also a giant anchor here. It's a little bit overgrown, and perhaps it's a reference to a Hololive alternative, or maybe it predates that, because the one in the music video is a lot bigger and it's white. There is an entire boardwalk leading up to the Aquamarine Go. It doesn't have everything that the original did. It's like some note blocks are supposed to play when you go over this section, but it definitely looks great. It should also be noted that the beach is overlooked by an angelic-looking version of Aqua holding 2 swords. Personally, I think this is a Wing Gundam reference, but it could also be a Sword Art Online reference, or maybe she really is just an angel. Of course, the biggest aspects to convince me otherwise are the lit up core around the chest, as well as the protective looking sort of side antenna on the sides of her head. In addition to what may be rear boosters, and that's definitely a booster pack right there. In the area, we also have a Nyankat reference, Aqua in a pixelated form riding her Neko. On the note of Nekos, we're going to exit the north side of the train station to see we have a 3D depiction of that very same kitty. From this perspective, it's a bit difficult to see because of all the gray. They definitely capture the spirit of the original art piece. It's definitely a sort of blobby appearance, very true to the original. We're gonna continue in this direction here, and we actually have a giant golden YouTube play button made in commemoration of Aqua hitting 1 million subscribers. Of course, the server map actually started in March of 2021, so this was added retroactively, but I think they did a darn good job with it. Also, I have heard that the YouTube play buttons are actually downsizing these days, so it's nice that Aqua was able to get a nice big one. Continuing on, we have more Aqua-related builds. Over here we have a giant Aqua head. Looks like it was meant to have something more inside, but I guess it didn't work out. And then on this side, we actually have the Onion Town Nether Portal. It's a very familiar design. You can see this on the main Hololive server, but it's also a generally popular design on the internet as well, the sword sticking in. There is also this Aqua head right here. I think people really like making giant heads of their Oshis. There is this piece in the ground here, another anchor insignia made up of glass and powdered concrete. And continuing in this direction, we're actually in the residential district. Here they seem to have a notice board talking about different developments, and it has a partial map, of which also probably needs updating. We can see some of the things that we did look over before. There are definitely some shops here, but we're not going to go into these smaller buildings, otherwise we would spend all day looking inside of people's houses. There are definitely a number of homes here, some of which are in more completed forms than others. Some of these exhibiting very large sizes and statures, and are just pretty nice. And some of these definitely stick more on theme than others. There's a lot of dogs here, and cats. Onion Town also has a number of farms, each of them encased in an appropriate Aqua-themed building. Nice to know that the food supply of the town is also staying on brand with things. In addition to their fully automated systems for what I assume are watermelons or pumpkins. Self-sustainability is definitely a selling point. There also happens to be this house here, tucked away in the corner of the map. And then there's this. God knows what they're gonna do with that much TNT. In terms of housing projects, they also have this condo here, and it does have a number of rooms available. Continuing back to the town center here, continuing from the station, we're going to wrap around the cat statue, and we actually have this. This here is actually where the town keeps their waypoint. A waypoint being a location that you can teleport to after registering it. For instance, I would use a command, and then I would have access to a full list of towns that I can teleport to. This garden is very, very pink. There's also this giant glass spiral that shoots up into the sky. On the one hand, it reminds me of Aqua's hair. I think it does this. Or perhaps it's the physical manifestation of Aqua's passion and love for what she does, shooting up into the sky as it's a boundless form of uncontainable joy and energy. There's also this building next to that. It appears to be some sort of cafe. And then next to that, I think this is, yes, it's like a convenience store, a food shop. And right across from these two buildings is this really nice looking garden. It's definitely a lot lighter in terms of its usage of pink, but you can stop by, enjoy the fresh air, smell the roses and other assorted flowers, and watch the water fountain. Very nice place for a romantic date. And of course, across from all of this is the school. I believe this is actually the biggest school on the Hololive Construction server, complete with an inner courtyard. Walking into this Akukin Corporation sponsored building, it is pretty accurate to what you would find in a Japanese high school. But going through each of these classrooms would actually take a very long time. And so we're just going to briefly look around. There are some variations of the classrooms here and there. Some being a bit more spontaneous, maybe it's a club room of sorts. Definitely a lot of variation for the club rooms. But if I was doing a build showcase, I could spend an entire video just on this building by itself. And it's got 3 floors to it. The courtyard also being a nice place, you know, I wouldn't mind having an education someplace like this. Moving away from the school now, we have another giant Aqua statue. This one is portraying her in a much more casual outfit. Hey, wait a minute. It's definitely cute, and I think it's a very accurate portrayal of her. We have the Onion Town Plant Hub, which, yeah, it's got plants. Further and then north, we also have some more interesting multi-level buildings. Over here we have some larger builds. Once again, we have another anchor statue. This build definitely has a lot of size to it, but unfortunately it doesn't look like it's complete. I think it's quite an ambitious project, and in its completed form, it would have probably been very nice to look at. Flying over next to that, we have whatever the heck this is. It appears to be a giant circle surrounding a building. The building itself coming out in a cross shape, but otherwise there's nothing else out here. But you could argue that this is a reference to a build that Aqua also did on the JP server, where she just dug a pit, and I think there was maybe a small farm in there or something. So this would be a pretty interesting homage to that. There's also this building here. It's built into the mountain. Appears to be another cafe, but it also doubles as their villager trade hub. Definitely a cafe of sorts if you're looking to order emeralds in exchange for food, or maybe vice versa. And then this building here is actually one of 2 underground storage hubs. Taking a look inside and going down, you can see that they have plenty of storage around here. Of course, I did say that was one of 2 underground storage hubs. Here we're gonna head down to the main underground storage. Ooh, seizure warning. This here is the 3rd and final Aqua statue. This here is the main underground storage hub. You can see we finally have a giant statue featuring Aqua in her default outfit as the gaming onion maid. A lot of detail to that. Now you can see that there are some unfinished sections here and there, and it probably makes sense. They, you don't always need a ton of storage, right? So there was less incentive to just complete the walls. But for the sections that did actually store things, they do look to be in a completed state. It's definitely a very big build, and requires definitely a lot of dedication and an eye for detail. This wing in particular is a lot more fleshed out. Some creative liberties have definitely been taken, and of course a lot of them are also conventional. Last but not least, we are coming back to this location to look at the House of Minato Aqua. I think this build is, well, it's obviously very on theme. It's a cute, detailed, and compact piece situated around the town center. And inside you're going to find even more to look at. A lobby, very appropriately themed, as well as an NPC of Minato Aqua. You can actually make the NPCs say things, but it doesn't look like this one has been rigged with anything. There is also an upstairs, with a lot of these little quaint pink decorations around the room. It's definitely the sort of place you would visit if you were going to, say, Disney for a character autograph. And with that, I believe I have looked at everything available in Onion Town. You can really tell that years of work has been put towards all of the different projects that they have here. I am definitely a fan of how they always kept things on brand, and it's not just a matter of slapping paint onto everything. The fact is, if you're going to be making a town dedicated to your Oshi, it should be very obvious that it is in dedication to, in this case, Aqua. In which case, Onion Town gets nothing but praise from me in that regard. And so with that, I'll be concluding the showcase. Thank you for watching the showcase of Onion Town. For any builds with additional citations, their links will be appended in the description below. And on screen, we also have a list of builder and contributor credits for Onion Town. Of course, it's a bit difficult to maintain such a list over the course of 3 years, so I do apologize if the list I am using seems to be lacking. Hololive Construction has been around for a pretty long time, and with that we've had towns and projects for just about every HoloMem. But with that also comes the emotions and farewells when we see members depart from Hololive. And inevitably, the towns of graduated members will cease operations. This has happened a number of times in the server's lifespan, and I've always regretted not showing off more of people's hard work in these affected towns, as it would feel awkward to do these sort of showcases after a member has graduated. But I've decided now that I would not shy away from these things, and that the creativity and dedication of these fan works should be showcased on some publicly available corner of the internet as a persisting memory of what we had and some manifestation of what was produced. On that note, I will try to do more of these showcase videos in the future, including towns dedicated to other departed members of Hololive. It is a pretty big list though, so if anyone had preferences on which of the 50 plus towns I should show off, that is much appreciated. Anyways, keep loving your Oshis while you still have them, make them feel loved while you can still see them, and remember them fondly when it all ends.